vibe in the Catholic Church. And I said to them, I am sorry. I don't belong to the church that is moved by the world. I belong to the church that moves the world. A church, a Catholic. So to be a young Catholic, you must be ready to be different. You must be ready to be singled out. And many of you are tired of being singled out. You want to be like them. And once you become like them, you lose your own uniqueness. Young people, it is often said that, they often say that of all the virtues God has given us all, the young people have been denied by God one virtue, and that virtue is hope. Young people are the only human beings under the sun who have no hope. Young people, when things do not work out, you give up, many of you. Many suicidal cases are recorded among the youth because of hope is scarce among the youth. Being dumped by a boyfriend who say life sucks because of you have got no hope. You do not know that tomorrow might come with better promises. One disappointment, it is like, you are as good as dead, why don't I just die? Hope is a rare commodity among the youth. But unfortunately, if you want to be a Catholic youth, you must be ready to demand hope by all means. It is lacking among the youth. A young person in the Catholic Church is compelled to knock at the doors of heaven, sometimes kick the door of heaven, demand hope. Because of hope is the sustainer of any race under the sun. So to be a Catholic youth, you must learn to practice at a young age the virtue of hope. Things are not always going to be smooth, but the Catholic youth is able to look at the time, even as it sucks, and you say, but tomorrow I am certain will be better than today. And you breathe again for another day. Tomorrow might not be as best, but you don't give up. You say, I wait on the Lord until the Lord grants what I ask of you. Hope is not there in the world. Why are many youth following disparate paths like drugs? It is because of the lack of hope. Why do you want instant gratification? Because of your doubt tomorrow. Some of you are going to raise children with people you don't really love because of you don't believe in the better tomorrow. Some of you are going to settle for arrangements of life that are lesser than yourself because of you say, what if this is the last train? What if this is the last bar? What if this is the last chance under the sun? And many of you are going to settle for standards lower than yourselves because of you don't believe that tomorrow might bring something better and something new and something much greater than today. The lack of hope is written on the face of every young person. Many of you are generally and you say, I wish I was born in another family. So the kind of things we seek for as priests in Parish Council, whenever the youth are given an opportunity to say something, it is difficult to hear young people praising what they have inherited. Very often you will look at what we have done and think that we have wasted our time doing all the wrong things, and then when you come to criticize everything positive, everything good. Why? Because you lack hope. You lack hope. There is no human being who is discouraged about the world like the young person. And the Catholic youth, you have no choice. You belong to a church with a heavy tradition, with a very rich tradition. Look back in the history of the church, and every young person whose name survived in the history of the church, find out what made that young person known even today. Let me begin with St. Francis of Assisi. He joined the religious life as a boy. As a boy, St. Francis of Assisi had a special love for God. And he took a different path from the youth of his time. He got closer to God. He loved God. He loved nature. He loved the poor. And he made a difference in the world. Maria Goretti is another young lady. You tied young. Why did her name survive? Because of she was in search for God. There is no one who runs after God and lose their name. Everybody who now runs towards God comes back with their names intact. I can cite more and more of the young people who have changed the course of history in the church. And those people, they changed the course of history because they were ready to be singled out. And if you are not ready to walk it alone, then you will be like the rest. But if you are ready to be singled out, sometimes I would really like you to look into the history of the people of God, the people of Israel. And I wish you could just throw a drone up in the sky, back in the years, and see how God formed a new people out of the children of Israel. And I think that drone of yours, when you throw it up there in the Sahara, what you will see is a group of wandering people who ran away from Egypt and journeying into the unknown. And they were told that that unknown place was the promised land, was Canaan. And they had to pursue that place. And these people were wandering alone for 40 years in search of the promised land. To be a Catholic youth, you may have to wander through some desert of life in search of life's true meaning. And you may have to journey that route alone. And unfortunately, many of us, we can do with the comfort of a few friends. And sometimes we don't realize that mob psychology is dangerous. 100 people can go together to Mahubani station and burn that whole station. But none of us can go and burn the station alone. In other words, we are ready to do stupid things in the comfort of the crowd. But it is difficult to do something stupid when we are alone. Everybody who's alone is faced with truth as it is. But in the comfort of the crowd, you can burn in a mall. In the comfort of a crowd, you can burn a church. In the comfort of the crowd, you can insult Jesus. But when you are alone, in the comfort of your own heart, you face reality as it is. And many of you are not ready to face reality as it is. Catholic youth, your church is unique. Your church is a model of all churches. And the Catholic Church doesn't owe it to anybody to become like the rest. The Catholic Church was once accused that you are a male chauvinist church. And if you are not a male chauvinist church, why don't you make women priests? And the church had to say, unfortunately, the church is a mother. Only the Catholic Church calls this church mother. Bushiri does not call his church mother. Martin Luther does not call his church mother. Lekhanyane does not call his church mother. It is only the Catholic Church who calls her own church mother. And therefore, if the church is a mother, oh, in every home, mothers are married to men, mothers are married to husbands. Oh, the Catholic Church, how will it be to have a mother who is presided over by another woman? It will be like a woman is marrying a woman. It will be like a man marrying a man. It is unheard of in the Catholic Church to see things that way. And for so long as the church remains a mother, she will always need a husband. And in every instance, a husband by all means has to be a man. And therefore, the leadership of the Catholic Church, the men, the presiders of this house called mother, for so long as the church remains a mother, she will always need a father to take care of this home. And therefore the Anglican Church does not owe anybody that perspective. And that is why they've got women bishops, women priests. Fine. But in the Catholic Church, the church is a mother. She carries with her the beauty of Mary, the mother of the church. And every man, every priest should desire to be like a Christ. And desiring to be like a Christ, take care of the church of Christ. Like Christ did, take care of this house called the mother. And to this day, the Catholic Church is a lone wanderer in this perspective. And she is alone. The other day, the Pope wrote a letter, a statement, that everybody could be blessed. Oh, many people were celebrating, yes, finally the Catholic Church is blessing everybody. Everybody can get a blessing. The Pope, a few days ago, he said, no, let's get things right. The marriage is only between a man and a woman. End of the story. This is a position the Catholic Church is ready to stand for. And it does not owe anybody its allegiance to Christ in this particular manner. So that to be young in the Catholic Church, Christ is a heavy responsibility. If you are ready to be part of the mob, you might as well abandon the Catholic Church, because of this church will be too much for you. But if you are ready to stand alone, this path is for you. Nobody enters the water of baptism in the Catholic Church without being called by their own personal names. Because of this journey, even though you share it with the community, but this journey you travel alone. You commit yourself to it alone. You know, when I was still a priest in the villages of Mabuluka and Tabile, just like many priests, I also believe that young people like, nice moments. And I would organize brides. I would organize, outings. I would organize this and that. And one day, one of the young parishioners went to a certain parish in the suburbs. And when he went into that parish, there was moments of adoration. There was moments of silence. There was moments of benediction. And that young man called me and said, Father, did you know that there is something called the benediction? I said, yes, I know that there is benediction. And he said, Father, why didn't you teach us benediction? Why didn't you teach us meditations? Why didn't you teach us moments of silence in the church? And that's when I realized that I have failed the Catholic youth. That just like everybody, I was carried away to think that all that excites you is noise. But I was shocked that deep inside of the heart of the true Catholic child, there is a desire for silence. There is a desire to stay in the presence of Christ. And from then I made a resolution that from time to time, I will invite my youth to a moment of silence with the Lord. If you are a Catholic youth, you must be ready for hard teachings, guys. This church is the church of the persecuted. Now in South Africa we have got one of our saints, one of our blessed ones, soon to be a saint, Benedict Daswa. A man who was ready to stand alone. Blood in the Catholic Church is a story. It is part of the history of the Catholic Church is written in blood. From the Good Friday in Calvary. Everywhere, in every country, there is a spilled blood of Catholics who died in the name of truth. Dear friends, to be a Catholic youth is a heavy vocation. It's not an easy vocation, and you will understand your vocation better if you organize for yourselves things like pilgrimages. Sometimes just take the walk of faith. Doing the rosary all the way. Come back and tell me what a transformation has taken place in your life. Being a Catholic youth means being the light of the world. There was a certain lady who said to me, "Father, talk to my son. My son has got friends, and four of these friends of his are into matakwana, are into drugs, are into marijuana. Please pull my son outside of that crowd." I said to that lady, what I'm going to say to your son is not that discontinue your friendship with them, but what I'm going to say to your son is that, young man, I'm glad that you are a Catholic, and that you are a Catholic in the presence of those friends of yours. And I'm hoping that your presence will transform their lives for the better. Because of the Lord said, I sent you like sheep among wolves. The hope is that you will transform those wolves and make them like sheep. So, dear Catholic child, your church was never afraid of the world. Christ took the world alone by himself with a group of 12 men. And today the name of Christ is known everywhere. But you know, it began somewhere in some cave in Bethlehem. A child being born. And that child grew and collected around himself 12 men. And from those 12 men, today the Catholic Church prides itself of the over 1 billion membership of the faith. And your Catholic Church is to be born in you. We are tired of the same old story of young people overburdened by the world, forever tempted by the rope to hang yourself, or some poison to destroy your own life. The Catholic child, whenever you receive the Holy Communion, the Holy Eucharist, just know that you have received life itself, and the only fight that you shall fight is the fight for life and nothing else. This is what it means to be young in the Catholic Church. To know that you are unique. To know that you are different. To know that you are born in a hostile world. But in this hostile world in which you are born, you are to display qualities that are not known to the world, but known only to your own church. Only known by the community touched by Christ and Christ alone. And lastly, dear Catholics, dear Catholic youth, I want you to understand that your church, there is no question which this church has not answered. There is no question which this church does not know. This church knows all the questions and has given has given all questions conclusive answers. Come to Father Thabiso when you don't get it right. But if I fail to put you right, don't give up. Go to another priest. Go to another Catholic. If none of us are setting you right, go. Google. What is the Catholic Church saying about this particular subject? You will get the conclusive answers you are looking for. So, dear brothers and sisters in the Catholic faith, unfortunately, not all of us can be proper Catholic. Some of us can find this too hard, and you might just choose to be just mere followers. But the challenge that is faced by all of us is to be ready to refuse ourselves to be moved by the world. And we must be ready to move the world. The Catholic Church is one institution that stands alone. And whenever you are ready to be alone, then you are ready to be Catholic. Whenever you are ready to differ with everybody else, to stand on the side of truth, you are ready to be Catholic. Whenever you are ready to question your beliefs, you are ready to be Catholic. Because of this church is a church of questions. It's a church that interrogates. It is not a church that simply follows, but it questions, interrogates in search of what is true, in search of what is genuine. This church prides itself of saints precisely because this church believes in bravery. And if you are not ready to be brave, you are not ready to be Catholic. And I have got faith in you. And I know that many of you are engaged in some serious projects in the church. Yesterday, I was in a meeting with a group of young Catholics who are formulating a youth program, a youth podcast program. And that podcast program, it is going to be about the Catholic teaching. And I was surprised, where did you get this idea? And we are proud of our tradition. And as the Catholics, we are ready to share our tradition with the world. But if the world is not interested in our traditions, we go on living our own traditions. In fact, I am told that this church does not go from door to door, knocking at people's doors, demanding that they become Catholics. No! We live our faith. And when you come to our space, we teach you. And when you take what we teach, you are one of us. And we pride ourselves over the cross. There is no Catholic church that can enter without seeing first and foremost the cross. Take up your cross and follow me. Be ready for the hard route. Be ready for the difficult path. And those of you who desire easy paths, shortcuts, you are not ready to be Catholic. A Catholic must just go all the way. In other churches, within 6 months, a person is already a pastor, a priest. But in the Catholic Church, 9 years, 8 years, 10 years, journeying slowly with the Lord. There is no rush in this church. The point is one. What we are to teach our people has to be well thought out teachings of the faith. And that task is not easy. And I challenge you, do not think that the catechism that you have learned before you were confirmed was enough. That was just an appetizer. A lot more is to be learned. Are you ready to take the longer path? And if you are ready to take the longer path, you are ready to be young in the Catholic Church. God bless you all.